Hey, welcome to the channel. Today we've got two daily trainers going head to head. We got the Nike Pegasus 37 versus the Hoka Rincon. Hey, if you're new to the channel, I'm Tim. I upload new videos each week all about running. So you'll want to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time that I do. So let's start by looking at the price of these shoes. So the Peg 37 costs $120 retail, while the Hoka Rincon is listed for $115. So not a big difference in the cost of these shoes. Moving right into the fun stuff, and that's the technology of the shoes in the midsole. With the Peg 37s, it's full-length React foam from the heel to the toe. The heel has a stack height of 28 millimeters and 18 millimeters in the forefoot, so it has a 10 millimeter drop from the heel to the toe. At the Hoka Rincon, it has EVA foam from heel to toe, and it has a 32 millimeter stack height in the heel and a 27 millimeter stack height in the forefoot. So it's fully cushioned from heel to toe. Both of these shoes are highly cushioned daily trainers that are capable of going both long distances as well as picking up the pace. One of the ways that Nike has approached this is by putting an airbag in the forefoot of the shoe. It has a PSI for men at 20 and the women's PSI I believe is 15. The way that Hoka has approached it is with an early stage meta rocker. Now, if you're not familiar with what this is, meta is basically short for metatarsal. And all that means is that they started contouring that EVA foam or sculpting it so that the curve begins just behind your metatarsal head, or basically around that forefoot area. That way you're going to be rocking basically through your foot strike a little quicker, moving you a little faster in your strides. Looking at the uppers of both of these shoes, there are some similarities. They both have a breathable, lightweight mesh upper. The difference is, however, if you look closely at the Nike first, you'll see that they had gusseted the tongue, and the material that they used to gusset that tongue, they continued on throughout that toe box, so there's really two layers of material there. And then looking at the Hoka, they didn't do that. The tongue is not gusseted, and they don't have that second layer of material throughout that toe box. So consequently, for me anyway, my experience in the Nike has been that it does run a bit warmer than the Hoka. Continuing to look at the uppers on both of these shoes, On the Peg 37, they've implemented a fit tab system this year. They did away with their fly wires, and that fit my foot really well. It snugged up my foot in that midsection back to the heel. It was very comfortable. On the Hoka Rincon, it's much more stripped down. They have just a basic eyelet chain, and I did have a little bit of material that bunched up at the early part of that eyelet chain there down by my midfoot. Looking at the collar and the heel tab of both of these shoes, it's pretty comparable in terms of the padding and the comfort level. I felt both of the shoes were really comfortable putting in long miles on them. So I didn't have any issues with that fit at all. Moving on to the heel cup in these shoes, I felt really stable in both shoes. I felt like my heel was seated properly. I didn't have any slippage. I didn't feel like my heel slipped up or down or side to side in either of these shoes. Looking at the insoles in these shoes, there is a huge difference between the two. With the Peg 37, it comes with a substantial insole. It's thick, it's cushioned, it adds both to the fit and the comfort of the shoe. With the Rincon, the original insole that came with it is paper thin. So much so that I couldn't run in these shoes initially. I had to swap out that insole with an insole from another pair of Hokas that I had to make them work for me. Now, once I did that and put a more substantial insole in the shoe, it became a favorite shoe of mine to run in pretty quickly after that. But looking at the outsole, so with the Peg 37, it is covered with rubber from heel to toe. And that rack foam is already pretty darn durable. So that just adds to that extra bit of durability as well as traction out on the road. With the Rincon, they only put rubber in the strategic areas. So it would be the areas that would be high abrasion or areas of greatest wear on the bottom of the shoes, which would be the heel, the midfoot, the toe-off area. And you can see on the bottom of my Rincons where the EVA foam has wore down and smoothly in the areas that weren't covered in rubber. So I would have to say that in terms of durability, the nod is going to go to the Peg 37 just because it's covered with that rubber. In terms of performance, the Nike Pegasus was a very smooth, silky ride. The only way that I could think of to describe that to you is like pedaling a bicycle, just a very smooth rotation through my gait cycle, where the Hoka Rincon was more bouncy. So I felt I could feel more of that energy return, especially when I was striking in my heel area when I was running in the Hoka Rincons. Now the Rincons are considerably lighter than the Peg 37s, and on my long runs I did notice that. So you start to get up around that 10, 11, 12 mile mark, and I could tell the difference in the weight of the shoe, and the Rincons did feel more comfortable and a little less stressing on my legs than the Peg 37 was. So both of these shoes are excellent daily trainers. I really love running in both of them. Which one is right for you? It depends on what you're looking for. The Hoka Rincon offers, cushion from heel to toe throughout. It does have that early stage meta rocker that it does want to help you move through your gait cycle a little quicker. It wants to go fast. And the Peg 37, is a highly cushioned shoe as well, with that React foam and that airbag. If you get up on your toes when you're running, gives you a little extra pop in your stride. And it was a very smooth ride through my gait cycle. So again, both the shoes capable of taking you lots of miles and giving you a highly cushioned, enjoyable ride. Hey, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, maybe give it a thumbs up, give it a little love. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload new content. As always, run tall, run strong, and be kind to one another. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.